All right, Broncos country, looks like we are live, but you guys know the drill by now. We've got to let the stream breathe for just a second here and make sure that everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. Welcome in, Broncos country, to this Denver Broncos Syndicate live stream as we have a crap ton of information to break down from the trade deadline that passed, where the Denver Broncos did not make any moves, to some other team news and rumors that has come down. We've got quite a bit to dissect in this one. We've already got Rayanne in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Saying yo, hope you are doing well. So, the Denver Broncos, after not making any moves during the trade deadline, which I did kind of expect it at the end of the day, but I was being hopeful that they would make a move because I believe they are in contention to win a Super Bowl, and there are a couple of weaknesses on the roster that they could have plugged at this deadline. But they do have faith in their current roster. That's very apparent, and I do have to trust that. We'll discuss that a little bit more, but we'll go ahead and get into this Denver Broncos team news. Before we do that, though, guys, if you could just do me a big as I get too demonstrative there and I completely pull my phone out, let's go ahead and try this again, guys. Maverick says, I really wanted another receiver. I get it, man. I did too, especially after those Jalen Waddle rumors kind of started to get going a little bit. I was hoping that they would materialize into something, but ultimately they never did. But before we do jump into things, guys, let's try this again. If you guys could do me a big favor and smash the like button on the stream as well as subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you guys want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. I would really appreciate it. It's not mandatory whatsoever, but if you guys want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping this channel grow, I would really appreciate it. The link is in the description below. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this first one in here. The Denver Broncos injury report for today. So we've got some really good news overall, as the Broncos had multiple DNPs yesterday, and only a few of them are DNP today. Will Lutz popped up with an illness. I'm not too concerned about that. There might be some sort of bug going around in the locker room. Alex Palczewski had something the other day. It's cold and flu season here in Denver. Nate Atkins still down with his knee injury, and then Pat Surtain still down with his pec injury. No surprise there whatsoever. Riley Moss, he was DNP yesterday, but got a limited participation in today. Marvin Mims with his concussion. Limited participation today likely means that he's progressing through the protocol. If he gets a full participation in on Wednesday, then I fully expect him to be good to go for the game. PJ Locke, same situation. He was limited. He has a neck injury, and remember, he had spinal fusion surgery during the offseason, so that was something that I was a little bit concerned about. Good to see him limited, and then Brandon Jones as well with his foot injury. 3 guys listed as full: DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers, and Jonathan Cooper, so no concern there whatsoever. Let's go ahead and say hi to some more people here. We've got Justin in the house. Good to see you. We've got Dom in the house. We've got Roan. We've got KB saying, I thought they were going to get Shaheed. I honestly did too. I thought that Rashid Shaheed was going to be a really nice fit here. I knew that the FC team that had called about him, and I assumed that it was going to be the Denver Broncos. Josina Anderson reported there were a couple of other teams that were interested in Shaheed, so it wouldn't be surprising at all if the Denver Broncos had called on him, but ultimately it didn't materialize, and Seattle pounced on him. We'll talk about some other trades that the Denver Broncos might have been in on today, because there were a couple of reports out there. We'll discuss that a little bit later on in this stream. Justin said, I wanted a tight end. I definitely feel you there. I definitely do. We've got Aaron in the house. Good to see you. I would have preferred for us to make a trade with the Saints for a Taysom Hill type player who is a true joker rather than Evan Ingram. I get you. We got Mickey saying who was cut. We'll go ahead and get right into that here. So we'll go ahead and switch to this tab. With the Broncos having let go of defensive back JT Gray with an injury settlement, that's the guy who they cut, they now have a roster opening on their 53-man. After being plucked off the Ravens practice squad, Gray had to be paid a minimum of 3 weeks. He got that, and now we'll get some more with an injury settlement. So they're doing right by JT Gray here. He made his debut and then suffered a hamstring injury in the game against the Houston Texans. So he is now down for the Denver Broncos and probably will revert to their IR long term. So again, it sucks that it didn't work out. I really wanted it to work out because the Broncos have a lot of issues on special teams, as we well know. So that is definitely unfortunate. As far as the Denver Broncos and their activity at the trade deadline today, I know that is a big point of discussion here in the Mile High City, the Denver Broncos not making any moves. They did make some calls, though. I want to go ahead and bring in this from Jordan Schultz. The Broncos and a few other teams reached out to and monitored the Dolphins about Jalen Waddle, but no deal ultimately got done. Miami's asking price was simply too high. Based on reports I was hearing, it ended up being a first-round pick and a third-round pick that Miami was desiring for him. That's a lot, man. It really is. We've got Salvador saying 2026. I'm expecting a big receiver, a big name receiver during the offseason. I definitely think we're going to see something coming in free agency. Benjamin Albright talked about that. A couple of other Broncos reporters talked about that. But that doesn't help them this year. The Broncos are trying to win a Super Bowl this season. They're not trying to win a Super Bowl next year. Well, they are trying to win a Super Bowl next year too, but they're ultimately trying to win one this year. With the AFC being down, you've got Cincinnati down, you've got Baltimore down, you've got Kansas City down, Buffalo's inconsistent. So this might be the Broncos' best chance with Bo Nix on his rookie deal. I will get to the Raiders injury report in a little bit. We got Uncharted in the house. Good to see you, Uncharted. Wouldn't trading for a wide receiver mess up the development for Pat Bryant? I don't think so, because Pat Bryant, he plays more of that X receiver role, and he also plays as a backup inline receiver. You've got Waddle, who's more of a Z receiver, and that's the role that I was hoping the Denver Broncos would fill, be it with Waddle or Rashid Shaheed. So they're really different kinds of receivers. Good to see you, Dr. Checkmate. Hope you are doing well. So as far as another move that the Denver Broncos might have been in on, bringing in this from Albright, the Broncos did make calls about depth wide receivers and offensive line, and also tight end over the last week. But the tight end thing fell apart after that team had an injury at the position. It's not hard to figure out who that was. They were calling the Packers about Luke Musgrave. But Tucker Kraft tore his ACL in the game against Carolina on Sunday, so that killed pretty much any chance of the Denver Broncos getting Tucker Kraft. So those are the moves that the Denver Broncos seemingly were in on. Ultimately, nothing materialized. At the end of the day, we're all going to have to trust that the Denver Broncos believe in this roster, and we're all going to have to trust in the overall process in their approach to building this team, which I do. The Broncos have shown success in terms of how they've constructed their roster. Even before Sean Payton got here, George Payton's drafts have been really solid. The Russell Wilson debacle, that was the fly in the ointment in terms of what George Payton had done. But George Payton has made multiple good moves to construct this roster, both for the present and the future. Sean Payton has heavy influence over those moves as well. So at the end of the day, we're going to have to trust that the Denver Broncos have a plan and they've got an overall philosophy for how they want to approach things. We'll go ahead and bring in the Raiders injury report here. Just go ahead and give me 1 second. Bring this in on the fly. I know that Roan was asking about that. Just give me 1 second here, guys. Bear with me. Okay, so the Raiders, they don't have anybody with DNP designations. Everybody on their report is limited or full, including Brock Bowers Aiden O'Connell, that is noteworthy. If Geno Smith doesn't play well, they might make a quarterback change to Aiden O'Connell, but outside of that, there are really no notable injuries for the Raiders. Mickey says, my blood pressure. Yeah, man, the Broncos, they're the cardiac kids, the heart attack horses, whatever you want to call them. Dr. Checkmate, good to see you. Maverick says, dare I say the Broncos are the Patriots are the Broncos' biggest competition? They might be, man. They seriously might be. The New England Patriots, the way their roster's constructed, I really love what they're doing. I love the philosophy in terms of how they're building things around their franchise quarterback in Drake May. And additionally, May just looks really good. In my opinion, the Broncos are not trying to win a Super Bowl because if they were, they would have traded for somebody. I don't know if I agree with that. I do feel like the Denver Broncos are confident in what they've built and what they are building moving forward. And they might feel like they're a year away, but I know they're very confident in the young talent that they have, and I know that they're confident that they can beat pretty much anybody in the NFL. What else can we do but trust? Exactly. But it's not just blind faith and blind trust. The Broncos have at least shown to have a good track record in this regard, and they've shown that they should be trusted in these situations building the team. If we can get receivers to hang on to the ball, throw to them, things would be a bit better. Listen, man, it's definitely a multifaceted equation here. Receivers are dropping balls. Bo Nix is inaccurate at times when he's throwing them the ball. The entire passing game needs to be better, but I also feel like this team is lacking a couple of roles in the passing game. They lack a true two-way inline wide tight end that can be a difference maker in the passing game. That's why I was hoping they would go out and target a David Njoku or somebody of that nature, or maybe a TJ Hawkinson. I also think this team is missing a Z wide receiver, which is the other outside receiver opposite of what Courtland Sutton plays. They line up off the ball as opposed to the X receiver who lines up on the ball and faces a lot of press coverage. So the Denver Broncos, in my opinion, lack a couple of these pieces on offense, and they could have made these moves and made life easier for Bo Nix as he continues to develop. Mostly, it's the drops and the overthrows that concern me. Exactly, me too. Hopefully, the confidence coaches gave to wide receivers to believe in their roster without the looming trade deadline fills them with more confidence. I feel you. I definitely feel you there. And the defense is amazing this year. It definitely is. We just need to get healthy. Greenlaw looked good against the Texans. PS2 coming back will be good. I still think we need to get Singleton out of here. He gets burned way too much. That was another thing. I think Broncos country collectively, we were all hoping that we would find an upgrade at off-ball inside linebacker. We made a video about Jordan Brooks on this channel. Cody Barton was a name that was kind of getting thrown around. At this point, anybody is an upgrade over Alex Singleton in coverage. That said, I think Denver's done a decent job of limiting Alex Singleton's role and preventing the amount of times that he gets burned. There was still a chunk play that he gave up in that Texans game. It was zone coverage, but Singleton got his hips flipped on that one and was completely out of position. And once he got in trail, he was completely cooked. He doesn't have that vertical speed to match guys in coverage anymore. But in run defense, he's still solid. So at the end of the day, I think Alex Singleton is going to continue to have a role in this defense. But overall, Denver's going to have to continue to limit what he does in terms of coverage out there. Yeah, I heard that one on Twitter. I can't remember who said it, but I love that, man. Heart attack horses. Is there any hope Pat could play against the Chiefs? I don't know at this point in time. I'd like to think he's going to try to push it, but you don't want to push it too much either and risk re-injury. So I'm more thinking the Washington game is a realistic timetable after the bye week. Give him more time to heal. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. The difference in this year's Broncos defense is the old D used to hold teams all game, but the gas ran out on the final crucial drive. This defense doesn't run out of gas. That's true, but also the offense is able to make the necessary plays in the fourth quarter to prevent the defense from running out of gas. It needs to be more complementary, though. I think we can all acknowledge that collectively here in Broncos country. Our slow starts is due to going against good defenses, and fast starts is due to bad defenses. And that's the thing. We've got to be able to get up to a fast start no matter the caliber of defense that we're going against. We're 7-2 and probably one of the most clutch teams in the NFL as we speak. At this point, I feel we're battle prone and ready to battle with whoever. I feel you. I definitely feel you. But at the end of the day, man, you do wonder if some of these weaknesses that the Broncos have on their roster are going to come back to bite them in the ass. Just as Uncharted Afterlife here says, you can never have too many wide receiver threats. I feel like Denver will be more aggressive in the offseason if they need to be. But with Russell Wilson off the books, all that stuff, I get you. I definitely get you there. But like I've talked about many times in this channel, the Denver Broncos are trying to win a Super Bowl this year. They're not building for the future anymore. They're building for right now. And right now might be their best chance for them to get it done with all the parity in the AFC. What's up with Drew Sanders? So, unfortunately, we don't know when Drew Sanders is going to come back. Maybe after the bye. It's not going to be this week. It's kind of a week-to-week situation where if he shows up and he's participating in practice, then we'll know that his 21-day window is activated. But until that happens, then we're not going to see Drew Sanders. I feel like once we get the dead cap off and the rust situation is done, then we'll have a great summer. I get you, but at the end of the day, this might be their best chance right now. Who got cut? It was JT Gray. You can go back a little bit earlier in the stream, and we discussed that a little bit further. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wind this stream down. If you guys could do me a big favor and smash the like button as well as subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, I really should plug this more, but I do a podcast every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, not on this channel, but on the MHRT Network channel, the flagship podcast over there, the 5280 podcast. I am one of the 4 co-hosts on that podcast. Again, every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Search the MHRT Network on YouTube, and we will be live over there in just about 45 minutes. So hope to see you guys there. And until next time, Broncos country, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.